So with these clots, is there anything that people can do preventatively if someone has been injected?
Well, it's interesting. So one of them, the triggering mechanisms, there's a receptor on the blood vessel linings, the red blood cells, as well as the platelets called CD147. And that little protein marker is where the spike likes to bind. Well, guess what binds there and inhibits the spike? Ivermectin. That's one of its about 20 mechanisms of action that are not only antiviral, but also anti-inflammatory and anti-clotting. Another good anti-clotting agent is hydroxychloroquine. One of the best anti-clotting agents of all is a normal vitamin D level. If you have a normal vitamin D level above 50 nanograms per milliliter, you're far less inclined to clot. So everybody thinks, oh gosh, I go out in the sunshine. Usually not during the hot peak of the day when you would be getting your normal amount. And in the spring and summer, you can get adequate D, but in the fall and winter, the UVB rays bounce off of the atmosphere. You can't synthesize D for several months in the wintertime. People need normal vitamin D. That inhibits clotting. Now, the primary clotting pathway for the virus itself is what we call the thromboxane A2 pathway. And the best inhibitor of that is plain and simple aspirin. Not too much, but just enough. So I'm again a big believer in the Goldilocks effect in life, just enough, not too much. So a baby aspirin every day or every other day is pretty harmless in terms of the human body, but it's pretty helpful in terms of inhibiting that pathway from happening. If you're going to get a shot, make sure you're doing something to inhibit clotting before you even get the shot. And another one that's really interesting that does break down fibrin quite well, there's a traditional food in northern Japan called natto, which is a fermented soy product. And there's an enzyme in that soy. It's fascinating in that population. You don't see a lot of death from heart disease or strokes, and they live to a ripe old age. And that's because in natto is an enzyme called nattokinase. And that enzyme is very prone to breaking down fibrin. So that's just one other thing an individual can do, as well as staying hydrated. I could put a needle in 100 people's arms right now, and most people would be dehydrated. The more dehydrated you are, the more prone you are to clotting. So that's just another thing to keep into consideration is just make sure you get adequate hydration during the day.